I kind of like the idea of this training page because I can just kind of go on and talk about the thoughts that I had as they pop up, and especially in relation to the workouts. I feel like, in a way, this is very self-serving, and it is. But there's also, I know, a handful of people who will see value in maybe entertainment in the stuff that I'm about to talk about. So this is the Instagram, the training page, and a couple of things that I want to just expand upon even more. If you don't want just my simple explanation, where there's my little face in the back in the corner, that's Erin. Erin was a member at my CrossFit gym. I remember when she joined in 2000, probably like 17. She was 18 years old. She's currently 26, so whatever that ends up being. And I thought this is really cool. She tagged me in this. We did today, and she did a little bit earlier. I think that the gym that they work out at, they're all doing Chad on Saturday. The gym, CrossFit FTX, over in Carroll Stream, also does all of the programming. But Saturday is just the day that they wanted to be doing Chad. Jody Lynn, sup? Ed, sup? Slater, sup? Welcome to Channel 2. Good morning, everybody. So when it comes to Erin, she's a perfect example of somebody who just does what she's supposed to do, right? And she doesn't really question stuff, and everybody knows. And this is mostly for those people to hear, because I know the coaches understand this. I know the programmers understand this. There will always be those clients, those members of the affiliates that are always, and I think it's good to question things, but sometimes it's to a fault. You limit your own process when you don't trust things. Of course, there are instances where people trust too much, and the person that they're trusting has absolutely zero intent, and it's limiting that athlete. So there's a very healthy balance there. I have to admit that. But when it comes to Erin, she hit this 200-pound clean and jerk, and she's somebody who at one point during her athletic career really wanted to get strong. She did Olympic weightlifting. She was at a gym where that was all she was doing. And all she's doing now is the CrossFit and the training program at FTX over here. And this just kind of came out of the blue. It came out of the blue via the workout today, which was the every 90 seconds. I'm going to pull that up right now. You got a shot at a heavy single. Where is it? Boom. There it is. So this is what's coming up, or is set up for today. This is why I want to talk about it. Every 90 seconds, still failure. You do a squat, clean, and split jerk. You start at 50-55%. You add load with each new set. I spend an ungodly amount of time writing all of these notes, putting them into the computer. I hope that people read them. If they don't read them, that's where the Sunday live stream comes on up. You see 2 Hillers. Oh, right, because it was the Instagram. Jethro, my members question, I show them the gains. Yeah. The proof is in the pudding. Anyway, so Erin just did this. She's built up, and like really there was no progression into it. It was like, hey, it's Saturday. There's a good chance that there's going to be a bunch of people around, or maybe you are just by yourself doing it in your garage, because it could be either of them. For Erin, it was in the affiliate. A lot of us are doing this in our garages, or maybe on our own in the affiliate, but you know that there's a bunch of other people, which we're going to get to in a little bit. There are a bunch of other people all doing this as well. Loading should allow for 8 to 10 sets. I don't like giving people creativity to choose the loads that you can do. Usually I'll say, hey, add 2 to 3%, or I'll say add 10 pounds for the men, 5 pounds for the women with each new lift. But when it comes to this percentage, where some people, if you've got like a crazy heavy lift, it'll end up being you get 12 sets, person B gets 6 sets. And the thing about that, guys, is I just told you that with that thought, as I'm putting all of these together, I've put more thought into that than I know some of the largest programmers in the space do. Just the sheer thought that I can't just give percentage and say, hey, you do 10 pounds and everybody do 10 pounds. It has to be at least percentage given, because some people should not be doing more sets than others. I want 8 to 10 sets. How do you get 8 to 10 sets for everybody? Kind of a little bit of creativity on your part there. Sometimes I'll say do 2 to 3%. Anyway, it's cool to see that come from Erin, and I'm sure that there are other people on there as well that I'll realize at the end of the day today. What is everyone talking about? Tell me, Ed. Tell me. 12 sets. That's how was that? You're not pissed about it, right? It's fine. Everyone likes lifting. It's just one. It's 12 total clean and jerks. So this is the real thing I wanted to talk about. Thoughts on today's workout. Just did this. Number 1, back to the Instagram page. You're going to see, and maybe you've already seen, look at all these people signing it. This is wicked. These are all the people so far. This is on Monday of the 10th. Here's the 11th, the 12th, and the 13th. I'm going to be curious how many people keep up with this 1 mile run a day thing. And maybe we'll even gather more because I'm going to continue talking about it. It's something where in CrossFit, a lot of people start CrossFit because they hate running. I know there are a lot of those people. I was one of them. You do your 2 maybe run pieces a week. And if you're really trying to push the boundaries of your aerobic capacity and you want to work on your running, you're perhaps doing 3 or 4 running sessions a week. Maybe. Now, I'm running every single day, and I just did this workout, and I'm curious how many people who are also doing this experienced the idea that when you were doing today's workout, which also has a mile. So today I ran 2 miles. This one is part of the workout because it's 800 in, 800 out with a 400-meter farmer's walk in the middle. Those were the easiest runs that I can remember doing in a long time. That first 800, it's like, whoa. So the order of operations today was I ran the warm-up mile like I've been doing. You just do the mile. Then you messed around on the clean and jerk. Then I came back and I did this workout. And that first 800, you're just thinking, wow, I feel light. And you kind of just like push into it a little bit. This 400-meter farmer's walk, my second thought was, and I have this thought sometimes as well, I just want to run a competition because I think that this would be a phenomenal competition workout. Because all you're doing is moving distance. The movement standards are all like screw high rocks. Like this should be a workout by itself. Just do this. And anybody can do this. Anybody who wants to watch, this is just live for everybody to see. You can try this workout out. I got 13:03 on this. There was a goal time of under 14. Oftentimes I will write a time cap, but when there's a second run and you're kind of, I imagine a lot of people are out and about. I don't want them thinking as they're running out the door, can I beat the time cap? Because it's like, hey, if I put a 15 or 16 minute time cap on here, you're trying to do the math. You're like, well, my first run took me 4.5 minutes, and I just don't want you even thinking any of this stuff. I just want you doing. I want you to do it as hard as you can. I want you to have finished this, and the first 200 meters of it, you're flying like a bird because you don't have those dumbbells in your hands anymore. Or I used kettlebells. Hee. I'm going to do Chad at the local affiliate today. And then you're not going to be able to move on Monday. But Ed, have fun doing Chad. Totally cool. Mark, this is the weekend to sign up. Next week's looks really fun. You tell him, Mark. Tell him all. This is the crazy. And here's the thing, guys. Here's what a lot of people lose and miss out on in a lot of the programming. It's one of the reasons that I am such a contrarian to the 40-minute EMOM is that this workout it's so simple. You look at it, the numbers are cool. Andrew, that's such a stupid reason. It's like, kind of. But once you get it, you get it. Andrew, that's a terrible reason. You're using a ration of nothing. It's like, all right, well, it is a mile. It is a 400-meter farmer's walk. It is something where within this 400-meter farmer's walk, I personally challenge myself to do the first 200 meters unbroken with the 70s. I'd be curious how many people could potentially do that unbroken. I think about maybe like the top people, the games athlete people. If I were to program this for the CrossFit Games, I'm thinking, would it be over the top to consider maybe the women using the 70s, the stuff that I was using on this workout? Do I think they'd be able to do this right here? And then also, could the men use the hundreds at that rate? Or maybe the men need to use the 80s, something like regional workout number. It's just the thoughts that go through my head constantly, and I'm trying to rework this stuff. Are the 800s, do they make sense? Of course they make sense given the fact that we're all running a mile. Because remember, as I put this together, I had already had that concept in my head that a lot of us would be running a mile a day. I had to do 25-foot turnarounds and use kettlebell, so I got roasted. That's a lot of turning. This is public, Grant. Public. And then there's this one, this final piece right here. And I don't have this uploaded yet, so we're going to do something crazy. This is the final piece, thoughts on today's workout. I want everyone to see this. These are the sorts of things that I think a lot of people should be doing. You're just going to have to watch this on my phone. This is going to be wonky. Here you go. There's Alexis doing, that actually looks pretty good. And I'm not talking about Alexis. Wrist extensions. Everybody does these, right? Wrong. Nobody does these. Everyone's always hanging from pull-up bars all day, and they're doing their cleans all day, and they're maybe if you're crazy, you're doing bicep curls, but everything you're doing is basically working this. And then everyone's like, and I get the questions about, oh, my elbows hurt. Oh, my front rack is tough. And then I think about the idea that anyone with a working brain would say your quads should be working an equal amount of your hamstrings. And maybe you don't think about it like that, but maybe you're thinking about squatting versus pulling off of the floor. Maybe you're thinking about how many times have I bench pressed or push upped or ring dipped in a week with my muscle ups and my bar muscle ups versus how many times have I done any sort of a row, a pull off the floor via a deadlift where it's heavy enough where I'm going to activate the back, the muscles of the front and the back. How often am I using these things? But how often are you using the other side of your freaking forearms? Never. Nobody ever does it. So on today's workout where we're doing these farmer's carries, and today in particular, so I'm going to show you this that Alexis was doing them with, but I have this little barbell, and they're just forearm extensions. How do you fix that? You got to make sure that your body is symmetrical. I always liken it to a bridge. And I probably, if you've listened to a bunch of my content, you'll hear this anywhere. You can't build a bridge with structures one way, just overly built, because then the other end of it's just going to fall out the bottom. At one day, you're going to have too many cars on one end of the bridge, and the whole thing's going to collapse because there's an engineer somewhere down the line that didn't do their job. And programmers and programming should work the same way. Mark, I do them. I like to dowel with the rope. Yeah, that works, of course. And I also tell people they can do stuff like this. Look at this little guy. Just open up your hands. Work on opening up your hands. Everyone is doing this. They're squeezing all day, and you never open, ever. What else we got? If you didn't say that she looked good, she'd kick your butt. Yeah, she would certainly kick my butt. So those are just the thoughts I had about today. Number one, I want to expand upon Aaron's clean and jerk a little bit, and the idea that as long as you're doing it, and it even bridges off the video I put on the main channel yesterday with something since Drew Sends Science, and the fact that he's gotten stronger via doing what he's told with intensity. Yes, there has to be some good planning behind it, but as long as you do it with the plan, you'll end up with Aaron with the best clean and jerk on some random Saturday in the future. No stress, all good headspace, and now she's going to have that same good headspace going into other lifts. What happens on this workout? How does doing a mile a day work towards that? And then also forearm extensions. Customer BRB. Customer BRB. I don't understand what this means. Don't kick the enter. How do you? Whoa. How do you know that that's down there? Ellen Mel. Oh, you're talking about your you were talking about your form on the kettlebell shoulder press. These were yes. Versus whatever should have been done. Can you go over that? Oh, the correct form for the push press. You should have your hip engaged a bit. I mean, it's the difference between, I got to get rid of this. When doing the push press, it shouldn't just be this. This is basically what I was doing. Just that. You want to use your hip a little bit. You want to dip and drive with the whole hip. Maybe you can see this better. With the whole hip, right? Push press. My glutes remained locked out. And I think that you should utilize the glute along with the hip as you're doing that. And it's something that if I would have showed an image, Mel, of my earlier ones, you would have seen that was happening. But as I become fatigued, my entire body kind of squeezes, and I don't move as efficiently anymore. Grant, go run. Quit being a baby. Yes, it's a mobility thing. It's something where when you get tired, your body will occlude a little bit, and it's something that you should always be working against. I actually had somebody reach out to me about my burpees. Like clap overhead. You know, that's all I got. I don't want to extend this thing too much. Thank you for being here. That's all I wanted to talk about. See you guys randomly in the future. Bye-bye.